Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and start. So find a seat, and I'd invite you to come up closer. Hello there. Come on up, everybody. Come on up. Welcome. All right. Bellingham time. Well, a special welcome to all of you who are here and also to all of you who are on live stream. We're really glad that so many people could join us near and far. And my name is Andrea. I have known Ace for 25 years, and so I'm very privileged to be the one to kind of conduct the service. And so why don't I do an opening prayer, and we'll begin that way, because that was what Ace loved, was prayer. There is only one infinite divine presence that lives and moves and has its being through all of us. It is eternal. It is love in action, and it is a wisdom beyond knowing. And every single person, every single animal, plant, mineral, every single planet and galaxy, universe, is within this one, held there in love and wisdom, imbued with that. And so we understand and know that Ace is held right now, as she always was and always will be, by a love that has no limit and a wisdom beyond measure. And today we gather to celebrate the time we knew her and to wish her well on her journey. And I'm grateful for our time together, for Ace and Erin Marie and all of us who loved Ace so much. And so it is. Amen. So, this kind of opportunity is not as frequent as it used to be in the old days. And I think that this kind of a ritual of coming together and bringing food and talking about the person that we love after they've passed away is really powerful and important. So I'm glad you're here. And, in this time, we get to hold space for all that Ace has been in our lives and each other's lives. So we get to honor her by sharing a little bit about who she was to us. We get to learn from each other because, the people joining us on live stream and the people here, we all had different relationships with her. I know that she bullied some of you people into bringing me hot water on Sunday mornings. So I'm looking forward to hearing your experience of Ace. And then ultimately, we're also here to release Ace to her next expression. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have her beautiful wife, Erin Marie come up and share a bit about her journey with ACE. And then we're going to show you a PowerPoint that Erin Marie put together of her life. And then we're going to have different people share. So Erin Marie, why don't you come on up? The moment you've been dreading. Do we have a mic for Erin Marie? You've got one, good.
It's been a long time since I've been up here. It's good to see you all. Thank you for being here. So 20 years ago, when I first saw Ace, she was singing in the Heart Song Choir of the Spiritual Enrichment Center, which is now CSL Reading. She didn't just walk down the aisle with the choir, she bounced. Her singing was so animated and joyful and playful. I saw her inner light shining, and I thought, I want to know this woman more. Ace's energy was powerful. It could be intimidating. Friends who knew her in her 20s described her as kind of scary. She had a lot of opinions about the way things should be done, strong opinions about the ways things should be done. From the way a backpack should be organized on a trip to the High Sierra, to the way the furniture needed to be positioned so that the energy flowed freely. But even in her most opinionated and downright stubborn times, the underlying message was that she wanted the best for the people she loved. Friends of Ace from the last 30 to 40 years have been reaching out to me and sharing their stories about who she was for them, who she was in the world. Even people that she hasn't spoken to in years have expressed a deep sense of connection and belonging with her. Once Ace claimed you as a friend, as family, no time or distance would ever change that. When Ace claimed you, you were hers. And it didn't take long for Ace's love to claim you. Could be one conversation with the greeters at the gym, a few minutes with the staff at the camp at Yosemite, a shared cup of coffee with the morning sunrise, a workshop at teen camp or women's retreat, a playful encounter at water aerobics class. That was her latest adventure. And just like that, a meaningful connection was born. Ace's love expressed itself as a life of service to others. It showed up in her career path, in the Army, as a sheriff's deputy, a marriage and family therapist to caring for deeply troubled teenage girls, and then as a housewife. It showed up in her commitment to the CSL Youth Program, writing workshops for weekly meetings, fundraising, volunteering every team camp on grounds patrol. Even more importantly, creating a safe space for the youth to explore their spirituality, to ask hard questions, and be honored for their bravery in the journey. Her service to others showed up in the way she would mow the lawn for the neighbors, carefully mark the positions for the rows of chairs in the sanctuary. I appreciate you guys can see Ace in all of this. She would set up the prayer space in the pavilion in Reading, and even the intention with which she would clean the restrooms, Susan. She helped train the CSL practitioners to stand in their power and their knowledge of spirit, source. And her love seemed to have no qualifiers. She put herself out there for people I would not have. She would forgive and forgive and forgive again. She would stay in friendships when I would have walked away. She saw in people what they could not see in themselves and held that knowing as they grew into themselves. She would infuse her love into you, as one of her friends told me. In our nearly 20 years together, Ace was always growing. She was always working on herself and becoming. She never stagnated. Over time, her sharp edges softened. Her demands became suggestions. Her vision expanded to include more possibilities. She even admitted she was wrong sometimes. She supported those around her in the same growth, encouraging me in deep dives of ministry and schooling as a nurse practitioner, even telling me that the feedback she was giving me in our relationship was so I could be even better for the next love of my life. She spent the last couple months of her life really striving to make sure the people around her felt loved, saying yes to time with our nephews and our larger family every time the opportunity presented itself. And she loved being an auntie. Visiting the elders from our previous neighborhood and making sure they had enough birdseed for their feeder, making sure that I had everything I needed to the best of her ability. Even as the Alzheimer's stole away Ace's physical abilities and clarity of thought, the truth of who Ace was in the world remained clear. She faced a death with powerful intention, with prayer, and with love. As we visited family and friends, and she was mentally and spiritually preparing for her transition, I would hear her quietly tell them, "You take care of Ski for me. I mean it. You take care of her." And I've been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love for Ace and I in these past few weeks. She built an impressive community of soulful, kind, compassionate people, spanning many decades and crossing the country. Love unlimited by time or space. There is no doubt in my mind or my heart that I am a better person for having been loved by Ace, and I know her love will continue to guide me and inspire me and challenge me to keep growing into my fullness and shower love on everyone around me as she did. And finally, I'm sure if she were able to speak to you all today, she would want you to know both how deeply she loves you and how grateful she is for your presence in her life. So thank you. We're gonna play the video now. Lots of really beautiful pictures of Ace and all the people. Not all the people. I couldn't put all the people in. We would be here forever. But many, many of the people that have had a meaningful impact on her and vice versa. So I hope you enjoy it.
invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings of heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. The different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, it's your sight, it's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the love in you and me. One power, oh, one power, is what we are. One power, it's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power. There's one power. What we are is forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me.
I made it all day without crying. So this is from, who is Sean? Friend, brother, deep heart brother. As I looked for something that matched a spiritual takeaway, this came forward. May we remember Ace as kin, not only to us, but to the mountains and the winds and the rivers, the puppies and the kittens and every living thing she loves so fiercely. Ace was our jumping mouse, small enough to notice every detail, brave enough to keep going, and generous enough to give her gifts away in service. May we carry her courage forward, and may her love keep leading us toward the sacred mountains. And the message I would leave for Ace, says Sean, Ace, you left us far too young. We are deeply saddened that your life was cut short so early. But we are also profoundly grateful because you were here and your spirit graced our lives, and that doesn't end. You live on in the way we love each other, the way we show up, the way we pack for the journey, the way we keep learning. Gosh, he's a good writer. The way we keep a bright flame lit. Sister, we love you. And we will continue to light that flame for you again and again until it feels like daylight. Wow. And then this is from my dear friend. Many of you also love Sue Miller-Bourne. And Ace loved Sue, and Sue loved Ace. And this is what she wrote, and I think she's watching right now, so sorry if I cry, Sue. Dear Ace, I write this letter to honor you for all that you meant to me and many others in this lifetime. I want to thank you for teaching me the art of sacred space and setting intention. As I was setting up again this year for the World Healing Prayer on December 31st at the awkward hour of 3:30 a.m. to be ready on time to recite the prayer, my thoughts were with you. In the dim lights of the pavilion, as I lit the candles, the same candles you set up for us years ago, I was thinking of you. I shared with those present in the candle lights flickering that when you set it up, every window had a light, including high up on the top windowsills. It was the ambiance that your vision started 20 years ago. You never arrived sleepy-eyed to the prayer circle, but had eyes filled with spiritual wonder and excitement, childlike and innocent and sincere. It is who you were at the very core. I have to agree with that. This thoughtful way you showed up was never intrusive, and in fact, quite the opposite. You became what we referred to as the church mouse. You were very satisfied being invisible, and yet in deep service to what was going on. I remember looking over my shoulder and you were there. Other times I would glance where I thought you were and you disappeared. You were good at that disappearing act. But it was out of a deeper loyalty to just being present in service without needing or wanting recognition. As a practitioner, your prayers were unique and deeper than most. You took your relationship with Spirit to a private level of sincerity, and yet with a spunkiness to it too. What you created with our youth group has never been the same. When you and Ski took it over, you were the champion of what the teens needed to feel safe and to grow in their spirituality. Both of you held a commitment of love and service to the teens that was life-changing for them. I can go on, especially when it comes to loving my cat family. I trusted you to love on them and play with them whenever we traveled, not just stop by and fill a dish with food. In fact, you were strict about feeding times, and that was the only concern they had when you took over. If they could speak, they'd share. They loved how you hung around, tidied up the place, kept a pristine litter box, but they were shaky about not getting what they wanted to eat when they wanted. That was a new paradigm they survived, but I could never follow through, even though it was a wise way to not be living by their rules. Your love for my cats made up for it. Our last prayer together and holding your hand will stay with me for a long time. You are still my ace in your childlike way of loving me, and your innocent request to keep you close in my heart brings tears and sadness to my heart space. But then I know you are there with me still. Your loving eyes, as I've told you before, your eyes reminded me of my mother's. Now the reflection of your eyes live in me. This is sacred to me. I am staying close to Ski, by the way, grateful for our friendship. Thank you for all the ways you've inspired me and helped me. Always with love, my friend. I am staying close to you now. Love holds us. Sue. So we have some special folks in Ace's life that are on live stream, and they've been given a special code so that we can actually hear them. So we're going to invite them to share now. You won't be able to see them, I don't think, but you'll be able to hear their voices in this space. So let's hear from the wonderful folks.
So the first person who's going to be sharing is my father, Clemens Szymanski.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
Pardon
Pardon me for
voice is a
little cracked. I'm doing some years. I'm here with my wife, Mary, and
our
life journey with and back in Reading,
traveled
traveled there.
Aaron
And has to ride with her.
and then
Meet Ace for the first time.
I remember
I remember it. She was scared, and you had to meet her.
and the
And the temperature in that we were there was 100 degrees.
But when
we met Ace
on
on that day,
it was
very comfortable.
and we got
And we got through that first
very well.
Found someone that we were happy
for Aaron.
Aaron and Ace out.
The next time
I remember with Ace Aaron, special occasion,
was on
was on a beach in Mexico.
That's when
they got special and just a wonderful experience to share.
the next
The special occasion with him was at their wedding.
time it
was in Washington.
a lot
A lot cooler,
and
and that was a very special ceremony for us to be part of them.
very
Very proud of Aaron. They together have found each other, share their love together.
We
We then
them on their
am on their honeymoon.
We
We went on Alaska, enjoyed sharing this time.
We did have our
We did have our own cabin. Then Aaron and I called us, and we began another journey.
that
Life journey was very
because that gave
gave us more time.
Aaron and Ace.
Aaron and Ace.
One of the things
that I remember
was her
was her loving and giving life towards us,
accepting us
accepting us
as her
mom and dad,
and
and to be part of her and life mother.
she
She loved coffee,
and she
and she loved bacon.
And
And those two things were here.
I
Also love coffee. And
we enjoyed
we enjoyed going out to and
getting that
getting that coffee cup filled several times, bacon to eat,
good times.
good times, and I would those.
She even
got me
the
the
bacon
dice
fun several
times playing. We did play that enough and
bacon while
we were playing it.
So to us, Ace is our daughter, as Erin was our daughter, or is our daughter, I guess. We will be missing Ace. We had many special times to come over and watch our dog when we were on vacation. That we will miss all those times with her. So at this point, I think it's to have all the finest coffee, all the leanest bacon, and all the time she spent with cats that have crossed that bridge before. We wish her our love, all the peace that she can have. And with that, I'll pass it on.
Thank you, Dad. The next person who's going to be sharing with us is Danelle. Danelle has known Ace for 40 years. Very special friendship. Thank you, Danelle.
Yeah, I met Ace in that one picture where she was a sheriff deputy, and I was scared to death. She was mad at somebody I was with, and she was yelling at them, and I just was trembling. And it's crazy because I've talked to a couple people that are part of that history back then, 40 years ago in Fresno, and they were afraid too. But everybody from back then, everybody knows her. Like everybody in town knew Ace. And I'm so grateful that our friendship continued on and changed and morphed into me knowing what a gentle person she is, and her morphing into a more gentle person too. But Ace is one of those people I could tell anything to. And I still am going to tell her things because for me she's still here. And we would just laugh about anything and everything, and delight in our mission to find things that people had put out for trash and repurpose them. And I love the stories that she gave me to remember. I've been reading the dictionary in the mornings instead of looking at my phone to try to help my brain. And I looked up the word ace in the dictionary today, and it's one of the definitions is person who is very brilliant at doing something. And Ace is brilliant. But when we got together a few weeks ago, one of the things she wanted to tell me is that Erin is the best thing to ever happen to her, and how much she loved her. And I want to just end there. And I love Ace. I love you, Erin.
Thank you, Danelle. The next person who's going to share is Ace's brother, deep of the heart, Steve.
Thanks, Erin. My name is Steve Chabron, and I'm Lisa's brother. And it may be a surprise to you because we didn't have any siblings. I met Lisa, excuse me, over 30 years ago. My first wife got on a vision quest with, and she said, I'm gonna have this friend come over and stay with us for a few days in Salt Lake. You're really gonna like it. And little did I know how true that was. A few years into our relationship, they said, I want you to be my brother, and I'll be your sister. How's that? And of course, I said, sure. And so we've been together through a lot of life passages. She was with me at my marriage, and I was with her Bellingham at Ace and Aaron's marriage. And she came out when Robbie was still a toddler, and helped me build a shed out in the backyard. And we connect periodically throughout the years, and it might be a few months before we talk to each other, and then we reconnect. One time I was in Bilbao, Spain, and it was her birthday. I had given her a call, and I got a voicemail, and she was out of the country. And I thought I called Aaron. I said, "Go back to Africa?" No, she's been in Spain. she was in where I was. On her first attempt to pick me up. And we'd have these little overlaps that happened occasionally. I am so very thankful to have tasted my life, and she's still there. She's part of me. And I remember when she met Aaron, and she said, "I need you to come down to Reading. I found somebody. I think she's the one." And so I'd arranged a business trip with a client down in Clemens Falls, and we drove down and had dinner together at Mount Shasta. That's when I met Aaron for the first time. And she was just probably as happy as I've ever seen her. And that happy it seems to last the last 20 plus years. I don't have a lot more to say, but it is a force of nature, and you're fortunate enough to know her well. You're very fortunate, and I shall miss her very much over the next few years. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. And the last person from the live stream who's going to share is my sister, Amanda. Amanda, we need you to unmute yourself, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So, as Erin Marie said, I am her baby sister, and oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Okay. So I'm her baby sister, and that my mind was flooded with memory after memory of Ace, and it was hard for me to relive them. My mind had that associated blocked itself off to protect me. Ironically, that metal blocked me even more than I want memory more than any. So I decided to share in hopes that I could connect to my mind it as I was writing this was painful and it was beautiful. As I was writing this, I see her with me. I could see her smiling at me. Sorry. Squeezing my shoulder, giving me a big hug. Proud of for doing something that was difficult and uncomfortable. Something that was important. He always told me how strong I was. How proud she was of me. I would tell her something hard I was going through and accomplish, and she always made such a big deal about it. She would even bring up pain that I was going through. I hadn't even talked to her about. She did this to lift me up, and to make sure I knew how special I was. She would cheer, hug me, tell me how strong I am. Always roll my eye. I'm not that strong. Not that big of a deal. Fine. People have it. I mean, she would always shut that down. She would hold my shoulders. Eyes with all seriousness. She would quietly and calmly say, "You're amazing." So today, as I write, I've come to the realization that I'll never hear those words from her again. I tend to be a very self-deprecating person, and she was always there to lift me up. And I never knew how much meant to me at the time because I was so on thinking that I wasn't important enough. But Ace, she helped me shine without me even knowing it. She was always one of my big. And I just know that she brought so many other people in her life. And as you all know, so many people in her life who loved her. I know that she treated me encouraging, uplifting, empowering, and beyond anything else she was like. Even when she was going through pain, you would never know to make you feel about yourself. I'm sad and I'm scared life without her encouragement and her love. I'm mad at myself for never having my own self-confidence. I wish I could rewind time, those moments and accept support. So going through all of this, I'm gonna honor Ace. Piece of her with me. Forgiving myself even just a little bit more because I know she always wanted me. When I'm doubting myself, the voice in my head. And when I'm having a hard time, but I'm being strong. Smiling. Ace will continue to help me since she's passed, and how she will always be with me for that. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
Thank you, those of you who spoke through live stream. I know it wasn't easy for you. So I'll share, and then we're going to bring a mic to you if you would like to share. I think one of the things that stands out for me in the 25 years that I knew Ace, and it might have been even longer, I kind of get hazy back then, is Ace was one of the most abused people I've ever met as a child. You know, when she was a child, she was profoundly abused. And that's important to know because some people would have been destroyed by that. But other people develop a deep well of profound kindness toward people and animals and plants. And that's what happened with Ace. And she developed that, and I watched her continually develop that well of kindness first through service in the Army and service in the centers that she was involved in, and then in the deep, deep service that she performed for Erin Marie and Erin's desire to become a nurse practitioner. And so one of the things that stands out for me about that is how from the first time I met her, how she would see that someone was suffering and she would go to them and be with them, just love them. Very, very gentle, very kind, she would use her humor if that was necessary, but she would always find a way to let people know that they were special and to let people know that they weren't alone. And that was a very potent gift that she gave through all the time I knew her. She and I were at youth camp together, and let me tell you, youth camp is one of the most transformational things for teenagers, and it is really hard on adults. It's really hard. We're up at 5:36 in the morning, and we're not in bed until midnight. And during that entire time, we're with 200 teenagers. And all the wackiness that you could imagine happens. And so when Erin Marie said grounds patrol, what that actually means is that in the nighttime, when people are supposed to be in their cabins, adults have to take flashlights and go and make sure they're in their cabins. And so Ace was just always on that duty. So she was kind, but she was also very firm. And had definitely, different wonderful ways of expressing that clarity with the teens. With me, she's the one that named me Doc. I'd never been called Doc before. I'd been a minister for years and years, but when Ace showed up in my life, everybody started calling me Doc. And it was so great to have that. One thing about Ace that many of you, I think, probably experienced, I certainly did, was that once she loved you, she was your cheerleader. She was there for you, thick and thin, didn't matter. She was easily hurt if you didn't reciprocate, but she also was always willing to forgive. It was an amazing thing. So I want to make sure that you all have a chance to talk, and we don't want to hold you longer than, than need be, but gosh, how do you compress a life into an hour? So I'd love you to share, and the way we're going to do that, I'm looking at most of you, and you know the drill. Clara's going to bring the mic. Yes, you need to use the mic, because the people that are listening on live stream won't be able to hear you if you don't speak into it. Hold it like an ice cream cone, so that people can actually hear you. So when you're ready, stand up. And I'm going to go sit down, but when I feel like, okay, we need to wrap, I'll stand up. And so if there's anyone who hasn't shared, that's your cue. Stand right up, okay? So go ahead. Let's hear from you a little bit.
Well, hi everyone. So for those on Zoom, I'm Christine Griffin, and Ace and Erin Marie worked with our kids when they were at CSL Bellingham. And I don't remember how long that was, but it was profound for me because I got a chance to kind of see you guys and work, and join the teens, which were just our kids. A small group here. And so I just remember how lucky our kids, were to have you guys. in their lives. And then more personally, my friendship with Ace started when you guys were out of town and you needed some cat sitters. And I didn't know cats. We weren't a cat family. But I learned through Ace how to care for the cats. And she had those cats trained. And I think reciprocal, you guys cared for our dog, and helped train our puppy. And yeah, Ace would go with me on a walk, and boy, militant. Don't look up, don't look down, don't do that. Here, let me show you. And I'm like, ooh. So I appreciate the energy. And I also remember meeting Ace. Aaron, I don't know if you were in that meeting. We were at Woods Coffee upstairs, and I was trying to figure out like this whole prayer thing, like what do you do, like the 5 steps, and she just simply put it like, close your eyes, and I'm like, okay, and she's like, now vision something, and I'm like, okay, and she's like, that's a prayer. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. So there was these moments, and while you guys were here, that we just had wonderful times. And then more specifically, we just saw you and didn't know anything about the situation. And I went right up to Ace. I'm like, where's your cat pants? And I don't know, did you guys see Ace's cat pants? They were kind of these wraparound things, and they had cats, this collage of cats. And when I'm having a bad day, you guys just... when you guys are having a bad day, you just say cat pants 5 times, and that's all gone. So anyway, just say cat pants. Cat pants, cat pants, cat pants, cat pants. Thank you.
Hi, should I turn around
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
I'm Heidi, and I'm a practitioner here at CSL, and I think I wouldn't have been if it wasn't for Ace. I gravitated here about the time you two got here, 2012, and we took a class together, and I remember being so thrilled because just a few of us would get together. Kalish was one of them. And Ace would say, let's pray. I just thought that was so cool. I'd never done that before, just sitting down and hanging out. And she was with me. I wasn't in practitioner training yet, but I took Prosperity Plus, which is sort of manifest your good. And I found this, that she helped me, thank you, hold my prop. This is her writing. My new home. I went into this class thinking, what do I want? Well, I need a home. I was living in this shabby apartment. And she's like, well, it was a 10-week class, and she was with me all the way. And she said, okay, what do you love about your new home? And she made this long piece of paper. I said, oh my God, I got to fill that out. And she made another one. There's a second piece this long. And each thing I wrote, she said, are you thrilled about that? Is that what you... And it's like, yeah. So she taught me practical magic and how to pray, like you said, Christine, and how to keep returning to the source. And so right at the beginning, she had me write beauty, serenity, freedom, joy, simplicity. And one of the things that's so Ace, she said, well, what else do you want in your home? She said, do you want to be able to walk around naked from one room to another? I said, sure, why not? I mean, I don't want people looking in the window, so we added that. And I swear that first place that was this, the result of this, 10 weeks later, was everything on this list. Everything. And so we used this technique again when Dan and I moved to Lummi Island, and we said, okay, the main things we want are a garage with a view. And the first place we saw was a garage with a view. That's it, no house. And so I did one of these things, you know, it's like I so remembered Ace, just like write it, yeah, okay, thanks Claire. You don't want to stay there and hold it. Anyway, so she really is with me a lot. And one other thing, whenever I'm practitioner here, I guess she didn't do this with everybody, but she said, okay, like the bathroom cleaning, she said, imagine Ernest Holmes is in this bathroom. And wouldn't you want the energy to be really great? And she took me around and we blessed 4 directions. And I still do that every time. And she's so with me. So she's with us right now. I just love her. Thanks for doing this.
I think I can do this. Hi, I'm Joanne for those online. Kind of following up with Heidi a little bit. Mine's a little more serious, though. I first really met Ace when I was a practitioner student. And from a distance before that, she was real scary. And I think a few people said she was a force of nature, and she really was. And I'd heard her pray, and I thought, I want what she's got. So I know the first class where we really started practicing prayer in the class, it was my first time to pray out loud. And I've never even said God out loud or prayed out loud in a group before, except maybe at the kitchen table saying the grace in front of the family, but it wasn't something I had done easily. And so we were in dyads, I think, or maybe at that time Clara was still there, I'm not sure. There was me, another person, and Ace. And so our task was to pray. And so, you know, we had learned the 5 steps, and I was going through it, and as soon as I got to the connection step, she said, she's got it. She looked over at Andrea and said, she's got it. She's got it inside of her. And that was a turning point for me staying in the class. So she's very instrumental in me being a practitioner. So thank you.
Well, I'm glad you brought up practitioner because there was one morning I was here in service. I think I was probably even still doing sound back then or hospitality. And Ace walks in and she said, I had a dream. I'm all like, okay, tell me about your dream. Do you really want to know about my dream? I was like, yeah, you're going to be a practitioner. I'm all like, what? Yes, don't question spirit. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be a practitioner. And I had already taken a couple of fundamental classes of CSL. And I always remember that there were people throughout my life that would tell me, like, there's something special within you. And you need to see that. And when Ace told me that, all these other voices showed up. And she pretty much cemented that for myself. That you can be something special just like we all are here. And, well, look at me now. I'm a practitioner. And one more thing. She's such a huge sports fan. And I know she has a deep feeling for the Seahawks. And I have a deep feeling for the LA Rams. So there was a Sunday, was it a playoff game? It might have been a playoff game. And both Erin Marie and Ace showed up with an Iron On LA Ram logo on their shirts. to kind of support me during that time, because I think the Seahawks were not in the playoffs at that time, but it was really, I have a picture of it, and I keep it on my, my phone, and it just shows how, how loving these two are. And they're such a huge part of my life, and my wife's life too.
I'm Jane. I don't know if I can get through this, but I guess I met Erin, and when she got here, when she first came, and Ace wasn't up here yet, and when Ace came along, of course, there were several get-togethers where we were all thrown together, and friends of mine would come to me and they'd say, "You and Ace need to spend time together. You have a lot in common." So, of course, being stubborn, we were both stubborn. We didn't really reach out to each other. And once in a while, I'd think about it, and I'd see her sitting in the back corner here. And by the time I got over to that corner, she had disappeared. So, I don't know. I don't even remember what it was that we did finally hook up, but we didn't live very far from each other. And she would walk over to my house, and we would do projects. We built a shed for my tent trailer to live in, and then we'd go over and work on the catio in the back of their house. And she was always busy, always doing. And then she'd look at the clock and say, "It's time for me to get home and cook something for my sweetheart to eat." And so I got very used to hearing the love that went between those two. And I was kind of surprised when I heard they were moving. I said, "Moving?" And she said, "Yeah, we need to go to Ohio. And we need to help with childcare with Erin's nephew." So at that time, I was doing a lot of childcare with my grandchildren. And as my kids would outgrow things that they were playing with, Ace would snag them. And I had bought a deal that was kind of like a toy storage area that was had different colored plastic boxes in it, and she really liked that. And she said, "Well, are you done with this yet?" And I said, "Does it need to go to Ohio?" And she said, "Yes." So it went to Ohio. When they got ready to load the truck, I was told what time to be there. And Ace had already, in her mind, had that truck packed. She knew what was going to go where. Erin and I knew that our job was to put things on the back of the truck. And she would place them in the right position inside the truck. And we were pretty good about doing what we were told. And finally, we got the truck loaded. Well, unbeknownst to me, Ace had in her mind, packed a larger truck. And Aaron picked up the wrong one. And there wasn't room for Ace's favorite chair. And Ace said, "That's okay, I can get another chair." And Aaron said, "That's not going to happen." We unloaded the truck. Ace took the wrong truck back and came back with the right truck. And we reloaded the truck. Doing it the same way. Picking things up, taking them to the back of the truck, and then Aaron and I would step back while Ace told us what we should put on the truck next, and then she would locate it in the truck exactly the way it was supposed to be. So I asked him a few times about, what path are you taking? Well, Ace said, "Well, that's, Aaron will figure that out." And I said, "Okay." She said, "But I know one thing for sure is we're going to see the eagles because the hatchlings are just about ready to peck their way out of the eggs." And I had no clue what she was talking about, but I just nodded my head and smiled. And sure enough, pretty soon in the mail, I got this T-shirt from someplace. I don't even remember where that was. Okay, they had to go there and see the eagles, and so they did that. But that was very much the way Ace was she had it worked out in her head, and we stayed in touch by phone, and our friendship just continued to grow. I'm forever grateful for that. Thank you.
I'm Pat. I didn't actually know Ace that well, just in passing. My husband, Mike, knew her more because he ran into her a lot here when he was doing maintenance and things. But when they were leaving, Erin Marie and Ace, there was no room on the truck for a prized Buddha. And so they gave us custody of it. And when Mike told Ace that we put it outside on the patio, Ace was really worried and concerned that this Buddha was outside. And so periodically then, Michael would text her a picture showing the Buddha that it was just fine, weathering quite well. So I took a picture yesterday, and it's sitting on the table, and Buddha is sitting next to a pot of flowers and doing quite well.
Sandy Levy is homesick with the flu today, so she wanted me to speak on her behalf. She just wanted to say that Ace was such a wonderful person and touched so many lives and helped so many people.
Our Ohioans, I hope you're hanging in there. It's 3 hours later for them. So, you can hear from all the stories, and you probably have your own, the gift that Ace was and continues to be. And I was telling Erin Marie that one of the hopes that I have for this time together is for us to think about what we learned from Ace and to literally take it into our lives in some way. Because in that way, we carry the light further that she offered. And so I don't know what it was for you, but I do know what it was for me. And carrying that into my life and applying it is what I'll do. And I invite you to do that too. It's the greatest way we can honor Ace, is to take what we've seen in her and learned from her. Even cat pants, and apply it. So I brought a wonderful thing from John O'Donohue, mostly because I've been sitting with Erin Marie these last few days, and so aware of the love and the loss that's part of someone moving out of this life. So this is called On the Death of the Beloved, and this is for you and all of us. Though we need to weep your loss, you dwell in that safe place in our hearts, where no storm or night or pain can reach you. Your love was like the dawn, brightening over our lives, awakening beneath the dark of further adventure of color. The sound of your voice found for us a new music that brightened everything. Whatever you enfolded in your gaze, quickened in the joy of its being. You placed smiles like flowers on the altar of the heart. Your mind always sparkled with wonder at things. Though your days here were brief, your spirit was alive, awake, complete. I thought that was so perfect. So I would like to invite you into a ritual of release now, and then we will move into sharing food and more stories and checking in with each other. So I would invite you, if you're able, to stand. Even you on the live stream, if you would. And I would like you to imagine that you are holding your love and care for Ace in your hands. And this is a modern version of the 23rd Psalm. Ace Szymanski. The spirit of love and light is your shepherd, and you shall never want. Spirit makes you to lie down in the green pastures of abundant life. It leads you now beside the still waters of peace. Spirit has restored your soul and leads you now in the paths of goodness. And yes, though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you will know it to be a shadow only, and will fear no evil, for Spirit is right with you, as are we, and will comfort you on this new journey. Spirit has already prepared you and has set the table of abundant life before you, of magnificence and joy. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow you always, and you will dwell in the vast love and wisdom of Spirit forevermore. And so, Ace, with deep gratitude, in the knowledge and in the name of the pure consciousness within us all, we now release you, Ace Szymanski, into the one love and the one life of Spirit. We bless you in your new experience. And just imagine. And so it is. Thank you. Let's have some food. There's decaf coffee and water for tea, and people have brought beautiful things. Philip's wife, Lori,